12 Sports Team presents your Southern Tier Kickoff.
All right, while the biggest game in D3 may be taking place just an hour from now, there are two big-time D1 games going on as well, including the number 4 team in the country, the Penn State Nittany Lions. We're looking to hand Purdue another loss, as the Boilermakers have not won a Big Ten game yet this season. Kyle, what can we expect this afternoon?
Yeah, I mean, Penn State will make the trip to the Midwest, to Boilermaker country, this week as Purdue hosts Penn State in Week 12 of the college football season. Penn State riding high, ranked 4th in the college football playoff rankings after putting up a smackdown against Washington last week. But now the Nittany Lions look towards a Purdue team that has been on the struggle bus all year, and they find this matchup their 3rd game against a top 5 opponent in their last 4 games for the Boilermakers. This game should be an easy one for Penn State and a great way to practice the little things as the college football playoffs inch closer and closer. At the same time, though, Penn State can't overlook any opponents because one loss on the rest of their campaign, and they likely find themselves watching the playoffs from the couch. This week, Coach Franklin talked about how Penn State has been getting better at spreading the ball around and converting on 3rd down.
It's kind of what I've been talking about from the beginning of the year. We want to get as many guys touches as possible. How do you do that? You be better on 3rd down. We were 7 of 7 on 3rd down, manageable 3rd down situations, and every time you're successful on 3rd down, you got a chance for at least 3 more plays. So, you know, when you're 7 of 7 on 3rd down in the first half, that's going to lead to good offense, and that's going to lead to more touches and more opportunities for different guys.
And taking a look at the keys to the game for Penn State this week, continuing to spread the ball around will be a huge play, hitting 7-8 receivers per game throughout this year, keeping it unpredictable for the defense on who the weapon that game is going to be. Like I mentioned earlier, working on the little things, tightening up defense. You can try some new schemes here. You can try out some different things, see what works, what doesn't before the playoffs come up in a couple of weeks, and change up the tempo. They didn't use it against Ohio State, which really hurt Penn State. Switching up that tempo, going from Aller to Pribula, 2 totally different play styles. One likes to run, one likes to stay in the pocket. If you change that up, you can keep defenses on their toes and never know what's happening next.
All right, I want to follow up on that because I was going to talk about that, but you already mentioned it. Allen and Pribula, you know, that switch at the quarterback position. What do you guys think? How much of a dynamic change does that bring to the Penn State offense? Kev, I'll start with you, then Kyle, you want to finish up?
I mean, they're 2 completely different players, and I know when Drew Aller just got to Penn State, it was like he's going to lead us to the promised land. He's this great quarterback. But me personally, I haven't really seen those results. I haven't seen those big-time moments in big games. So if you can add this extra layer to your offense, make things more dynamic, I think it's worth trying in a game like this, which is largely, you know, what people would refer to as a tune-up game. This isn't a game that I think Penn State has any chance of losing, so you might as well mix it up.
Is this a tune-up game?
I mean, it really is. Purdue, like we mentioned, one of the worst teams in college football this year. I mean, they've gotten blown out by Big Ten opponent after Big Ten opponent. This is the exact time for Penn State to work on those little things. Just work on creating bigger gaps in the line for Singleton or Allen to get through and create those big explosive plays down the field. Also, defense, tighten up on your coverage a little bit, play a little bit more press man. You can get those reps in this game. But the receivers, the big problem they had against a team like Ohio State, no separation at all whatsoever. Work on your break timing. Aller and the receivers break at the same time. This is where you really smooth out those wrinkles in the game and get ready for the thicker part of the season.
All right, real quick, and I know that we talk about trap games and all that stuff and look-pass games or tune-up games. How many times have we seen Purdue beat a number 2 in the country, Ohio State, at home when they shouldn't? Is this a chance that Penn State can get beat today?
I don't think they'll get beat. I don't know if we're going to the picks just yet, but I don't. That spread at 28.5 is just humongous. Kevin, you know, we were speaking here at the desk earlier about that, but for me, I don't think they're going to get beat. I don't think Purdue is a bad football team, just plain and simple. Penn State is the better team, so I think they're still going to win. Do I think it's going to be more than 30 points? No.
All right, real quick, we'll go around. I am going to take Penn State. I have picked them, but as we're talking out here, I think I should have taken Purdue, but I got Penn State right now.
I'll tell you why you're right, Zach. Purdue has played 3 top 10 opponents that are inside the top 10 right now. Notre Dame, Oregon, Ohio State. Their largest or smallest loss there, 35 points. So I think Penn State will cover today.
And bouncing off what he said there, I mean, 35-point loss to Oregon. Yes, Oregon is also the best offense in the nation, in my personal opinion. This is also a Penn State team that Bowling Green kept it really, really close to them. 28.5 is way too much.
Michael, real quick, who you got?
I got Purdue covering.
All right, Michael, and we're going to stay with you here real quick as well, because I know we got Syracuse coming up on the slate. Cuse headed to the West Coast to take on California. What can we expect on the West Coast there in Cali Love?
Well, first, before we go to Cal, we have to look at what happened against Boston College. As we head to Syracuse, the Orange gave up 313 rushing yards, 2 different running backs, over 100 yards rushing. Jordan McDonald had 15 rushes for 137 yards. Kai Robichaud had 28 attempts for 198 yards, 2 yards shy of 200. Boston College only had 65 yards passing. Kyle McCord went 31 for 48 for 392 yards, 2 touchdowns. LaQuinn Allen, 16 rushes, 51 yards for 2 touchdowns. Syracuse still somehow stayed in this one as they came down to the last couple plays to decide it. Boston College took it, though, with the Syracuse losing 37-31. Here's what Coach Fran Brown had to say after the loss.
Like, it was embarrassing. I felt as though we put the defensive line in bad situations. They came out and they just outcoached us, you know, and they was able to expose what we were doing defensively. We needed to have a different front to be able to match up with what they were doing to us, and they just continued to run the ball. And I thought that the way they ran the ball was really embarrassing.
And with that, we head to the keys of the game for the Syracuse Orange. First one is going to be figure out the offensive line. Shoring up that offensive line, they had some injuries in Boston College that they moved some guys around up front, but they need to protect Kyle McCord if they want a chance to win. Second, they need to obviously get the run defense figured out. Tackling has been inconsistent for the Orange, and after giving up over 300 yards rushing, they can't let that happen. Again, lastly, McCord will have a tough matchup against a good Cal secondary. Noel Williams leads the nation with 7 interceptions, tied for 5th with 12 pass breakups, so he'll have a tough day against a Cal defensive back team.
All right, we're going to get right into it. Kevin, what do you think? Do they cover the 10? Do they get the win? Or is this the end of Syracuse kind of relevancy here at the top of the ACC standings and nationally?
Yeah, 3-part answer here. Yes, they win. Yes, they cover this 10. And yes, Fran Brown will get to shower this week.
Kyle, what you think?
I mean, this is a Cal team that we did see play really, really good against Miami, but Miami's also showed major cracks in their armor multiple times against weaker teams throughout the year. I think this is a team in Syracuse, they can pull together offensively. Defense has been the big struggle this year, but I'm going to take them covering that 10-point spread.
All right, you talked about some of those keys to the game and, you know, whether or not Fran is able to instill some of the things that he's put in from day one to day now. Now, you were up there for day one. Has this team shown improvement? Do you think the Fran Brown era has shown some progress?
I do, and I think it's in a different way than everyone expects. It's not going to be by wins. In my opinion, it's going to be by the losses. Coach Fran Brown, with his integrity and his just fortitude, I think is the better word for it. I think that he's going to learn from every single lesson. He admitted he got outcoached. That was one of the keys of the game that we said. He can't get outcoached by Bill O'Brien in Boston College. He said, hey, I did. You know, he's been coaching for this long. I've been coaching since 2013. It's 2024. So only a couple of years. I think with every learning lesson, he's going to improve. So, yes, it might not be in wins, but I think he's going to improve. All
right, just real quick, we'll go around the current one-word answer. I got Cuse. Who you got?
I got Cuse.
Cuse.
I got Cal.
All right. You're the Cuse alum.
I know. I got Cal, though. They're getting injuries.
All right. And we'll take a look at some other action going on around the tier this afternoon. Kevin, what we got?
Yeah, so this afternoon for teams in our area, we'll start off with Cornell with a big home Ivy League matchup with Dartmouth. Then we're kicking off at 1 p.m. The Hardwick Hawks will make the in-state road trip to Mooresville as they search for another win. Kickoff for that one at noon. And the Colgate Red Raiders hitting the road for a trip down to the Keystone State. They'll play at Lehigh at 1 p.m.
All right, don't go anywhere. We are back after this break with all of our picks at the end of the Southern Tier Kickoff.